Welcome to Fundamental Mondays. This is where we're going to be discussing and looking at various elements of equipment and parts and the likes musicians are going to use to try and give you a bit of a better understanding of them. In today's one, we're going to be covering switches, specifically guitar switches. Why? Well, a lot of people ask us, what do they do? What's this one for? What's the difference between that switch and this switch? And you know, they don't quite understand how they work when they're, for example, rewiring their own guitar or replacing a broken one or building something from scratch. So I want to be able to at least provide some understanding as to how they work. I got a bit of a mixture here in front of me of the most common types of switches found in guitars. And the good part is we can separate them down into some basic categories. So if we move these ones up here, like so, and these ones down here, we end up with the two main categories of switches. Up top here, we have what we call blade or lever switches, sometimes crescent switches, sometimes half moon switches. And then down the bottom here, we've got toggle switches. Named so because this little part up top, called the toggle. You'll find these kinds of switches across most types of guitars out there. There's a few others out there and the likes in different guitars doing different things, but we're not going to discuss them today. Today is the most basic fundamentals of the switches. First of all, what is a switch? What does it even do? At its most basic, all a switch is connecting two things together. That's it. On, off, on, off. We would call that a single pole, single throw switch. Usually used as power switches and similar type things. From there, we can start making switches do more interesting things. When we add more switches within a switch, so you can have multiple switches inside of a switch, and you can also have them with more and more throws. Some rotary switches go up to 30 or more positions. Thankfully, most of the ones we deal with here are pretty simple. 3-way switches and 5-way switches. They're going to be your most common. You do see some 4-way switches, usually used in sort of modified Telecasters to give you a fourth sound for a series parallel, but not quite so common. So between the two different types of switches we've got here, your wafer switches and your toggle switches, they tend to perform different roles in different sorts of guitars. So how does a switch work conceptually? Well, what is a switch? All it is just a way of connecting points together. Simple, that's it. That is your most basic switch. Single pole, single throw. So that's just going to make or break the connection between those 2 points. Most commonly found when it comes to guitars anyway, is used in something like a kill switch. Press the button down, connects that there, that goes to ground, and your signal all goes to ground. Simple stuff. But if we want to make it do more stuff, make them more useful, what we need to do is we need to add more positions for it to go to, and if we want even more stuff to do, more switches. A switch can be more than one switch. You can actually have multiple switches inside of a single package. That's what these all are. None of these are just a single switch. They're at least 2 switches in one package. For example, if we look at the toggle switch, like that there, what this is actually 2 of these switches. One there, and one there. So when we go up like so, we've broken one of those connections. But the one down the bottom here is now connected. So whatever's connected up to there, that can't go through there anymore. It's gone. But what's connected to here can make it through to the other side. If we want this to be a useful switch in a guitar, we tie one end of it together. And then we'll go up here and we'll go, you know what? Let's connect a pickup to each side. The way that this switch works is it's got those 2 individual switches inside of there. As we move the toggle, it's going to make or break each one of those connections. So when we're up there in neck position, that connection is going to be there. The bridge connection is broken. The bridge is not connected, signal can't flow. But that's going to go all the way out there and make its way through to your output jack. So suddenly you're going to have output from your neck pickup. When we move it to position 2, both of those switches are both now connected. Like so. So that means both neck and bridge pickup can both go off to there, off to our output. Ta-da! Finally, one more shot. We've disconnected the neck pickup from it entirely. Bridge pickup, that's working. Cool. And that's how they work. So that's why we tie up the connection ends there to make them work. So we've got that for our toggle switch. But what if we've got more than 2 pickups? Well, what we can do is we can take that and we can make it a little bit more complex. So now we've got 2 switches inside of here, one there, but now we've got 3 terminals. So we're not just connecting to one anymore. We skip 2. That's a common switch for a bunch of other things, but not for this particular instance. We add the 3rd one. So now we connect to pick up 2, neck, middle, and bridge. And remember when I said with the switch, all it's doing is just connecting 2 points. That's it. A switch isn't polarized. It doesn't matter which way you connect them. As long as they connect, that's it. The signal's going to go where it needs to go. So in this particular instance, we've got the 3 of them over on this side, neck, middle, and bridge, connecting over here to volume. We've also got down here the other side of that switch. So with these ones, as we were talking about, you've got 2 sides of the switch, one there and one there. All right. So we've got our neck, middle, and bridge connection there. When we move that switch, what we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of a dotted line there, so we know that these switches, despite being independent, will move at the same time. So those connections, whenever that's up in neck, that will always be up in neck as well. When that's in middle, that'll be in the middle position. Conversely, get down to bridge position and, funnily enough, it follows along. They are connected, but they're still independent, so you can do different things with them. In a Strat, the way it's done, the way it was done back in the day, both halves would connect to your volume. Right? Volume control, pickups and tone controls both need to go there. But they were set up in such a way so that the tone controls, tone 1 and tone 2, connected to different pickups. And then bridge pickup had no tone control on there. The only way you could get a bridge pickup sound with the tone control rolled off was in the position 2 or the jammed position. Or, you know, have your 5-way switch, then you're going to be able to get it into that position 2. So if we look at this once again, when we're up here, neck position, neck pickup is connected to the volume pot. Down here, volume pot is connected to tone 1. So you can have up there in your neck position, the tone rolled off for a really dark, woolly type thing, pretty common. But then when we move it over to position 2, like so, suddenly we're connected to tone 2, the middle pickup. The neck pickup's not connected anymore. That's gone. Tone 1's not connected anymore either. We're connected to tone 2. Tone 2's to the volume, middle's to the volume, different tone control, different pickup. Then we go off to 3rd position, down like so. We've got no tone pot connected anymore. The bridge pickup is connected. That gives you less treble roll off and your typical biting type bridge sound there. So no matter how we move that switch, we're going to move in the same way. It's simple, but trips up a lot of people. All it is 2 switches in one package. If we wanted to get really interesting, we could wire it up like we would with a Telecaster or something that's just got 2 pickups. Not the original Telecasters, mind you, but the later Telecasters. If we've both got those outputs there, and we've got those 3 connections, we know that, well, when we're up in that position, that's going to move up there, same there, same there. What we can do, so we put a second connection we'll go up here and we'll go neck pickup, bridge pickup. But what we want is we want that middle selection to have both connected at the same time. They're both connected to individual switches. So what we can do is we can actually jumper those connections to the middle, like that, like that. So now, when we're up there in neck position, like so, we've got a signal going up there, over to there, to the neck pickup. This one is going up there and no pickup. Cool. Neck pickup by itself. Move down to the next position, the middle one. Connection goes over there like so, over there like so. But now, the neck pickup is still connected to both that and to that one. That's going to go out to the volume control. The bridge pickup is connected to the middle one too on this switch. Off it goes. Volume control, 2 pickups operational at the same time. Move on to position 3, like so. Once again, the neck pickup's not connected to that, so there's nothing there. Bridge pickup, that's connected to those 2 terminals, which means it goes out to the volume when it's in that bottom position. Simple. Simple, but still trips up a lot of people. That's it. These switches here are identical to these switches, but in a different form. Both of these have 2 sets of switches inside with 3 terminals and a common terminal. Flip them over, 5 position, 3 position, 5 position, 3 position. And they both work the exact same way. 5 position terminal there, in the middle, connects those 2 there. 5 position terminal, lastly, it's going to connect those 2 there. The same thing in a slightly different way. And we'll go through in future how these connect up in different ways, because a lot of people get the terminals on these and these confused. And then there's also the other type of switches made by Oak Grigsby that have the terminals splayed a little bit opposite to how they are there. And unless you can sort of conceptualize it and visualize it in a particular way, it'll probably trip you up. And that's it. That's how a switch works. There's nothing too crazy about it. And that's how we can get the most basic wiring done for there. Next time, let's talk about pots. There's a lot to talk about for such a little simple part. Until then, see ya.